The government says it received confirmation from the organizer of Sunday's soccer friendly match that Messi would play in the second half. A Chinese court hands down a suspended death sentence to Australian writer Yang Hengjun for spying. And Donald Trump threatens to impose trade tariffs of at least 60% on Chinese goods if he is re-elected U.S. president. Hello and welcome to TVB News. The government said today authorities had received confirmation from the organizer of yesterday's friendly match between Inter Miami and Hong Kong 11 that Lionel Messi would play in the second half of the event. This came after the Argentine football legend did not play in the match and caused anger among many fans. Mimo Singhai reports.
Oh, we didn't see Messi on the match. Very disappointed.
On Sunday, 40,000 spectators gathered at Hong Kong Stadium to watch the friendly match between Inter Miami and Hong Kong 11. For most people, it was an opportunity to see Lionel Messi, the football superstar. However, many were disappointed as Messi did not take to the field throughout the 90-minute match, but sat on a bench instead. Some spectators called for a ticket refund. Meanwhile, the government issued two statements on Sunday evening, saying authorities are also extremely disappointed that Messi could neither play in a friendly match nor explain to the fans in person upon request. The government also said they will require the organizer of the match, Tatler Asia, to take up responsibility. Speaking to the press today, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Kevin Yearn said the organizer had reassured the government that Messi would play in the second half before the match. Yearn also said authorities try to fix the situation.
When the second half began without Messi, we immediately followed up with the organizer, but was later informed by Tatler Asia that Messi could not play due to injury. We reiterate our request for Messi to play in the match. About 10 minutes before the match ended, the organizer, Tatler Asia, confirmed that Messi could not play. We therefore immediately request them to explore other remedies, such as Messi appearing in the field to interact with his fans and receiving the trophy. Unfortunately, this did not work out.
Today, Tatler also responded to the incident.
Tatler Asia deeply regret the disappointing ending to what was an exciting occasion and has decided to officially withdraw its application for the M-Mark event status and 16 million Hong Kong dollars grant.
Meanwhile, the office of the Tatler in Aberdeen was closed for the day. Has the organizer violated the Trade Descriptions Ordinance?
It has to depend on how Tatler has presented to the consumers about this match. Because we have to differentiate both things, because one is the government between the contract between the government and Tatler, and the other thing is the one between Tatler and the consumers.
Up until noon, the Consumer Council said they had received 38 complaints regarding Sunday's match. Barrister Owen Kuhn said it will be difficult to obtain a ticket refund.
Definitely not easy for the public who paid tickets to watch the match to claim a refund. It actually has to depend on whether how did the Tatler tell the public in terms of the involvement of Messi.
In a promotion post by Tatler in January, the organizer published that Argentina's World Cup winning captain Lionel Messi will be involved in playing the match. Kuhn said the word involved is a fake and bold term. Minus 9, TVB News.
The Hong Kong Monetary Authority said borrowers will not be asked for immediate repayments as long as they continue to pay their debts. The number of negative equity cases in Hong Kong is at its highest since 2004. In a Legislative Council meeting today, some lawmakers paid attention to the possibility that banks could demand repayments from borrowers whenever they like, as the city's property prices have been falling. In response, HKMA Chief Executive Eddie Yu said the institution had already communicated with banks in December. He said banks should not request borrowers who are creditable for repayments because of a change in property values. Yu also said HKMA will review the market regularly to see if there is a need to adjust stress test criteria for mortgages. The Australian government says it's appalled by the decision of a court in China to give a suspended death sentence to Australian writer Yang Hengjun. Yang has been detained in China for the last 5 years. He was arrested for spying when he arrived in Guangzhou in 2019 with his wife and teenage stepdaughter. The writer received a closed-door trial on an espionage charge in Beijing on May 2021 when living abroad. He became known as a writer of spy novels, blogger, and political commentator. His family say the 58-year-old has a kidney problem and his health is deteriorating.
We have consistently called for basic standards of justice, procedural fairness and humane treatment for Dr. Yang in accordance with international norms and China's legal obligations. Australia will not relent in our advocacy for justice for Dr. Yang's interests and well-being, including appropriate medical treatment, and we will continue to provide consular assistance to him and his family.
He is found guilty of espionage and sentenced him to death with 2 years probation and ordered that all his personal property is to be confiscated. The People's Court heard the trial in strict accordance with the law and ensured his procedural rights, and the court also respected and ensured the consular rights of the Australian side and allowed the Australian side to sit in on the sentencing.
Donald Trump has threatened to impose trade tariffs of at least 60% on Chinese goods if he is re-elected U.S. president. Speaking to Fox News, the former leader said it could even be more than that. While he was in the presidential office, Trump placed import duties on billions of dollars worth of mainland products. Meanwhile, the Republican nomination frontrunner said he wants to work with China. Trump said he likes President Xi Jinping, who he described as a good friend during his time in the White House. Firefighters in central Chile on Sunday battled to quell forest fires that have killed 112 people so far. The blaze razed entire neighborhoods, leaving at least 1,600 people homeless. President Gabriel Boric has warned the country faces a tragedy of very great magnitude. More from NBC News.
Tonight, a wind-whipped inferno in Chile, turning the skies into an orange hellscape. Thick smoke blanketing the densely populated Valparaiso region, normally a beachside paradise, now a death trap. President Gabriel Boric saying the death toll, already in the 60s by midday, quickly rising to 99 later Sunday, according to the medical examiner's office, is certain to rise even higher. That makes this Chile's worst natural disaster in nearly 15 years. Horrifying video showing cars dodging flames on the highway. More than 1,300 homes destroyed in one area alone, Chile's government says. In some neighborhoods, almost nothing is left. We need help, this Viña del Mar resident says. Food for our pets, supplies. I lost my house, everything. Wildfires are common in the sizzling Chilean summer, but these flames are being fueled by intense heat, heavy winds, and low humidity, part of the El Niño weather system. Tonight, Chile's military is helping firefighters attack the blaze by plane, helicopter, and on the ground, battling wind gusts up to 37 miles an hour, with no end in sight. Josh Letterman, NBC News.
Still ahead, Canada extends a ban on foreign ownership of housing by 2 years. And 2 injured in a traffic accident involving 6 vehicles in Kwaichung. Canada on Sunday announced a 2-year extension to a ban on foreign ownership of Canadian housing. Ottawa said the move aims to address concerns that Canadians are being priced out of the housing markets. Canadians are increasingly unable to afford housing, blamed on a rise in the number of migrants and international students. This has fueled demand for homes as rising costs slow construction. The ban was set to expire on January 1st, 2025, and will now be extended to January 1st, 2027. Last month, Canada announced an immediate 2-year cap on international student permits and said it would also stop giving work permits to some students after graduation. Population growth fueled by immigration has put pressure on healthcare, and education has helped drive up housing costs. The national security trial of media tycoon Jimmy Lai entered its 23rd day of trial. Accomplice witness and former associate publisher of Apple Daily, Chan Pui-man, testified that Lai had asked her to blow up some stories. That included a speech by then U.S. Consul General of Hong Kong, Kurt Tong, in 2019, which pointed to a downturn in the city's economy. Chan said while the paper had reported on the speech earlier, she decided to ask colleagues to do follow-up stories as Lai attached great importance to the topic. She also said Lai instructed editorial staff to do more stories on the business sector, worrying about the impact of laws such as the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance. Chan is among 6 senior staff members of Apple Daily who pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit collusion with a foreign country or with external elements. The trial continues tomorrow. A traffic accident involving 6 vehicles in Kwai Chung left 2 people injured this afternoon. It happened at around 2 p.m. near Kwai Chung Interchange. The driver of a truck was suspected of having lost control of the vehicle. The truck hit a road divider and toppled on its side, falling onto a taxi and a water supplies department vehicle. 3 other vehicles were also involved in the mishap. Traffic flow in the area was affected for some time after the accident. And the city's restaurants raked in an estimated revenue of $27.4 billion in the fourth quarter of 2023, an increase of 7.5% year-on-year. The government said the total revenue of Chinese restaurants was up by over 10%, while that of fast food shops increased by almost 8%. Seeing the most gain was bars, where revenues rose nearly 20%. For 2023 as a whole, revenue of the restaurant sector was estimated at nearly $110 billion. That's up 26% year-on-year. Looking ahead, the government said the restaurant business is expected to benefit from a further recovery in inbound tourism and continued growth in domestic consumption. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Pearl Magazine is up shortly. Bye for now.